Welcome back, everybody. My name is Todd Wall. I am loving the discovery that's taking place between Deirdre and Brooke. You can begin to see almost the beginning of the dots connecting as, oh, yeah, and then I do this, and then I do this. You're about to see that even clearer. Watch as Deirdre takes this discovery, this new awareness of now we know the problem, and she's beginning to kind of tiptoe into things. Watch as it begins to get extremely tactical. I love how Deirdre laid out what if you did this, this, and this beforehand? She's like, I'd never thought of that before. Maybe. And so you see the beginnings of this. What if I did this and this beforehand, like a routine? Because it's the little things that we do that make the biggest difference. Let's watch the rest of the interview. Here we go.
Happy audience, an audience that's receptive. Tell me about horseback riding. How do you picture yourself riding?
Oh, that's funny that you say that because it's all about breathing. You really have to ride with your core,
Exactly.
and it's all about breathing, and you have to kind of leave everything behind so that you're present in that moment on the horse. And I like to visualize. I do a lot of that by visualizing, okay, this is going to go well. Or I tell myself, I prompt myself almost like artificial intelligence. You are an award winning Olympic rider, you know?
That's it. That's exactly it. And how long do you do this in advance of riding? Or is
I
this all
sort of think about it on the car ride to the barn and also when I'm on too, sometimes I may not like get pick up the canter or something. And so then I'll reset. This like I'm giving I totally see what you're saying now because I'm like, because if I start to get excited or a little too up here, it's a
right?
reset moment. Take a
Yes,
pause, visualize like being more calm, cool, and collected, reset, and then start again.
exactly.
You know what it is too? I think I get scared of pausing sometimes because of the silence, but I also know that silence can be powerful. So, what advice do you have there around like how long are you allowed to pause, like say to reset?
I think it depends. You can take a pause to gather thoughts, to make people wait. You can't take a 5-minute pause
Sure.
when you're on stage, but you're going to know that timing. You're going to feel it. And usually the reset is quick if you're doing the proper reset with the breathing. Because the minute you calm down and breathe correctly, whatever you need will come to you. And it sounds uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if what I just said struck you as I can do it or oh gosh, I don't know if I can do it. But believe it or not, just that breathing helps the brain to gather the thoughts, to get it into words, to let it flow out. So that's the key. And because you can do it horseback riding, you can do it anywhere. And it will be only a few seconds. Sometimes it feels longer in our
Yes.
own, but
Yes.
it's not.
You know how that goes. A second, 1 second feels like eternity sometimes on stage.
It does. But that moment of reset, that second or 3 seconds, it is a signal for your audience. It says, I have to wait for this because this is important. Whenever you have a message, a critical message that you want to share with your audience, you want to pause a little, state it. You want to go to your lower voice because a lower voice is it it's perceived as wisdom. It's perceived as important. It's authority. It's people think you're older than you are, wisdom wise.
Mhm.
When you go into your low tones, go a little lower, your voice is deeper, and then pause it again before you say anything else. And that sets that message apart. And they'll know it. And they'll
I can
process it.
visualize it. I can see what you're saying. I can visualize what you're saying. It's the doing part that I have to try to practice, I guess.
Yes, practice and see the period.
Mhm.
Know when that statement ends, period, so you can stop and then let them process for a second. Audiences need to process what we say. Sometimes if you go up on stage, and I love energetic speakers, I do, and there's a lot that's shared, but have you ever stepped back and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm missing. I can't quite catch everything that they're saying."
Yeah,
So
all
you're
the
doing
times.
them a favor. It's of value to them if you can take that pause.
That makes sense. So, breathing, visualization, and then working in those pauses. I have a lot of like points. They're like usually sentences that are throughout my presentation. Those like thinky pieces, I guess. And that
Mm,
seems like that would be a good place to kind of pause and let people absorb that thinky statement.
yes. And you can practice that. The one thing that good speakers do is they record themselves. Go record yourself on video, or we can do it together, and then watch the playback and say, did I pause? How did I sound? How was I breathing? You can
Mm.
actually detect your own breath rate. You can see your chest move up and down if you do the playback in slow motion, and if you're breathing more than 20 breaths a second, I mean a minute, you're not calm. So calm is somewhere between 15 and 20 breaths. And test yourself and see.
Yeah. I've never done that before. It's like even when we get the videos of our talks at some of these conferences, I don't watch the replay because I it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's watching yourself on TV. I mean, it makes sense. It's like football. They watch backs all the time to become better players, and so I
It
see what
matters.
you're saying. It makes so much sense, but I've never been the person who goes and watches that.
Just take 5 minutes of it. Just look at your beginning. And maybe you
Yeah.
want to look at your ending too, because beginnings and endings are really important for your audience. The beginning is that time that people have that connection. They either say, "Yeah, go, Brooke," or, "You know what? I'm going to play on my phone while
Yeah.
somebody is
Yeah.
speaking." So those first couple of minutes are crucial. You want to know that information like the back of your hand. Then you have the middle part of your presentation where there's still engagement, you're excited, and then it's that close. And that close is what's going to get them to take the next step. So at least go back and watch that so you can always be improving and changing and stronger front end and back end.
Yeah, that's a good tip too. I guess I could watch and practice and record the first 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes. That
Yes,
also doesn't feel so, like, big to tackle, right? It's just 10 minutes.
right.
10 minutes to record and then 10 minutes to watch back.
It's kind of a cringe moment. I wrote an article about this in
Yes.
my
Yes.
LinkedIn newsletter. It's such a cringe moment to have to watch yourself back, but the benefit, tremendous.
The benefit is tremendous. Deirdre, I loved watching each aspect of this play out. I like the punctuation. I liked her facial expressions as she would as they as it kind of sank in as she got it at different moments. I really loved what was going on. What did you notice as it was actually taking place? What was kind of going on in your mind, and what were you like? Oh yes, this is great. What did you see?
I noticed that when Brooke was understanding that her eyes would get a little wider, that she was surprised but yet excited because deep down inside she was already doing a lot of what it takes to get on stage and to not feel nervous. And she said a few things that, I knew she was with me and that she would try. When she was talking about riding and working with her core and the breathing, she said, "I get what you're saying." The light bulb started to
Yeah,
connect.
and you could
And that
see
was
it.
good. Yes. You could see it on her face. And she said that she was scared. There were certain, even though this is a good tip, this was something that I think I could do. She did say, "I'm scared of pausing." But at the same time, she knew that these little thinky pieces
The
were
thinky, yeah, I like
great,
that. The thinky pieces.
the thinky pieces, that she could take those pieces and they would be perfect for the pause. And I think as we got deeper and deeper, and there were these little things that she could do, she probably was realizing, not only have I done this before somewhere else in my horseback riding, the big reset, but
Yeah.
I just need to practice. I need to do a little more visualization, and maybe I will record and cringe moment, watch back. So she was taking it all in.
Yeah, the power of this coaching method is it allowed her to, even those moments of anxiety, to replace the emotional fear with something practical, with
Yes.
actually something tangible that she could actually stand on. And you could see that transition even in her face as she recognized those points.
Right. I mean, there were her facial expressions were smiles. Her eyes would widen, her cheeks would go up. She had those aha moments as we went deeper and deeper. The
She
dots were connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. And here's the great news, Deirdre, is we're not done. In our next segment, you're going to lead her to like I say, a whole nother level. You're about to go even deeper, because this awareness is just beginning to uncover the anxiety. As we go layer by layer deeper within that anxiety, it gets a little scarier, but it also gets even more powerful. So, Deirdre, you're doing such a great job. I cannot wait till the next point. So let's go. All right, everybody, stick with us. You do not want to miss this next segment where, like I said, she goes one higher level. So stick with us. We'll be right back right after this.